defenses of the Netherworld's great hall and struck me squarely on the crown of my head. Standing at the center of the column of lightning, an utterly suppressed roar escaped my throat. My skin was carbonizing and cracking apart at a speed visible to the naked eye. But I didn't fall, my right hand was still pressed firmly on the book of the Netherworld. So, this is divine punishment? You want to obliterate me? You want to erase his name? I won't allow it. The peak Great Ascension cultivation within me began to burn without restraint. That was the chaotic sword chi I'd cultivated for 300 years. Transformed into an azure dragon, surging upstream, forcefully resisting the descending pillar of lightning and charging back towards the heavens. The two forces collided in midair. In that instant, the entire Netherworld was rocked by a magnitude 12 earthquake. The Lord of the Netherworld watched the figure amidst the lightning, flesh and blood flying, yet not retreating a single step. His eyes filled with incredulous terror. He was fighting the heavenly Tao with his physical body. That's making an enemy of the will of the entire universe. A sharp crack echoed from within my body. My spine had snapped, then came my ribs, the bones in my legs, my arms. Under the absolute, crushing might of the heavenly Tao, even the body of a great ascension master seemed so fragile. Just then, the voice of Sha Mo's soul reached me. "Hey you, let it go. I'm not worth it, shut up." Cough. 300 years ago, you took a blade for me. You've looked after me for 300 years. This time, it's my turn. Sword, to me. Since the path to life is cut off, I will find life through death. Watch closely, Mo. This technique is called Heaven Defying. Twist, condense. With one last roar, the thunderclouds filling the sky suddenly vanished. I had forcibly compressed all the power of the thunder into that single sword, sealing it within my own body. Now, I stood in the center of the ruins. My entire body was charred black, like a withered log. A heavenly abyss sword was embedded in my chest. There was no breath, no heartbeat. Was I dead? From a distance, the Lord of the Netherworld cautiously sent out his divine sense. But the very moment it made contact with me, a crack split open in the charred, dead skin on my body. A dazzling golden light shot out from the crack, and then, like a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis, the charred flesh and blood flaked away, and a new me slowly raised my head. But this was no longer a mortal body. My bones were now forged from condensed purple lightning. Golden, divine substance flowed as my blood. I had reforged my true body in destruction. He actually used the power of the heavenly punishment to forge the legendary immortal Thunder Tribulation sacred body. I pulled the sword from my chest, and the wound healed instantly. I turned to look at the coffin behind me. Alright, the hardest part is over. Next, let's go home. I ignored the people around me. I lifted the coffin with one hand and took a step forward, tearing the barrier between the two realms and disappearing into the Netherworld. At that moment, in the ruins of the Heavenly Tao sect, I gently placed the coffin down and said, "Come out, old Mo." I extended my finger, and a drop of golden blood from my fingertip fell onto Sha Mo's soul flame. That was the sacred blood of the Thunder Tribulation I had just refined, the ultimate in hardness and yang. Yet it also contained immense life force. The soul flame absorbed the blood, instantly surging in size and forming a translucent human silhouette. Next up, a physical body. I looked at the ruined remains in the coffin, skeleton that was even missing a vertebra. A flicker of pain showed in my eyes. That was Sha Tian's handiwork. That traitorous son tore out Sha Mo's spine. How can one be a man without a spine? I took a deep breath, raised my right hand, and plunged it directly into my own back. I grabbed hold of the main vertebra that radiated a fierce sword intent. My natural sword bone. This is the foundation of my standing as the #1 master of the sword. It's also the essence of all my cultivation. Out. I forcibly tore out my own bone for Sha Mo. A surge of immense spiritual energy instantly coursed through Sha Mo's entire skeleton. The bones are there, now he just needs flesh. I lay on the ground, panting heavily. Having lost my sword bone, my cultivation level was plummeting. From the peak of the Great Ascension stage down to the early stage, and then down to the Tribulation stage. But I didn't care. I looked up at the golden light of Ascension about to descend from the sky. That was the gateway to Ascension. I had already reached the peak of the Great Ascension stage, and had passed the world-ending Thunder Tribulation. The heavenly gate was open. The immortal realm was calling for me to take my place among the celestials. If I were to just follow the golden light and ascend now, I could reforge an immortal body and live forever. A majestic, divine voice echoed from the sky, "Ling Yu, return to your place immediately." A golden celestial ladder extended down before me. I looked at that ladder to eternal life, and then at Sha Mo beside me, who had yet to grow flesh. The Sky Abyss sword lying on the ground flew up. With a single thought, I commanded, "Shatter the ladder." The sword, carrying my final resolve, slashed mercilessly at that sacred golden light of ascension. The ladder shattered, countless streams of golden immortal energy poured out from the shattered ladder. The energy that was meant to guide my ascension now all poured down. Absorb it, guided all this energy, which originally belonged to the immortals, and channeled it into Sha Mo's body. It was an act of stealing from the heavens. I cut off my own path to immortality, using the energy of the immortal realm to regrow flesh on Sha Mo's bones, bringing the dead back to life. Amidst the golden light that filled the sky, on Sha Mo's skeleton, meridians, muscles, and skin began to grow. Even his shattered dantian was being reformed by the immortal energy. It was nourished and reforged into a dazzling golden immortal pill. Though it's not quite the great accomplishment stage, this body is now, in the truest sense, the body of an immortal. Finally, the golden light faded, and the one lying inside the coffin, his chest gently rose and fell. I was sprawled on the ground. Having lost my sword bone and my cultivation, my hair had already turned gray and brittle. My skin sagged, and I looked like an old man at death's door. But I kept my eyes glued to his face, until those eyes slowly opened. Sha Mo sat up. He looked around in a daze, looked down at his own hands, and finally, his gaze fell to his feet. To the blood-soaked old man lying there, Sha Mo froze. A sharp pain, coming from the depths of his soul, instantly made his eyes well up. Even though my appearance had changed, and my aura was different, he recognized me in a single glance. I struggled to lift my head. Even though my body is ruined, even though my path to immortality is cut off, I broke into the most genuine and joyous smile I'd had in 300 years. Lao Mo, you protected me in our last life. It looks like you'll have to protect me in this one, too. Sha Mo let out a sob and burst into tears. This man, over 30 years old, was now crying like a lost child who couldn't find his way home. He threw his arms around the bloody, mangled body on the ground, holding it tightly in his embrace. Sunlight spilled over the two of them, one, with the newly reborn body of an immortal, the other, a ruined man, just fallen from grace. But in this moment,